and having that, and I continue to grow and learn, like awareness of cultural differences and what just being a white male in America represents to a lot of different demographics, right? So it's like having a sensitivity and awareness, and also, I want to help people. It's part of my mission and part of my personality, but also having that foresight to say, I can want to help serve a community or a group or someone, but they may not need or want my help, right?
Exactly.
And respect that and say,
I just learned that from a friend, Ujai Lightflower. He's a former lawyer, and he's my chant teacher. And first thing when the hurricanes were going towards Bahamas, I was like, I want to get down there and want to help and be able to do something or whatever. And he was like, did you ever think that maybe the people don't want to be helped?
Yeah.
Maybe they want to be shifted and moved out of that area. And I was like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. He's like, yeah, you must not be quick to just assume that someone wants help. That's an assumption.
Right.
And I said, okay, that's true. He said, so you need to get the community leader or find someone down there and see what the need is. And then whatever that need is. And if you want to go down there with a group of people and then do that. But otherwise, just don't think you're going to go down there and just save everyone.
Well, as yogis, like in our community, we're like, let's go fundraise. Let's go do this. Let's help, and often without asking the people you're going to serve, like, do you want our help? Yeah. Or do you what do you really need?
What do you need?
And that's what that little lesson with Starbucks was like, like going and be an observer, having honest conversations, and it maybe means like, walking away because there's somebody who wants to figure, they got their own plan, but I'm very much about inclusion and, like you mentioned, monumental yoga and being able to see that grow as a colorful community of people and have.
That's my goal, to see a parade happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another reason why I'm playing on the colorful. I'm throwing this out here because I'm in front of you.
A little parade. You want to see
so in my mind, I'm like, I can just see Afro people moving and all different type of colors. Yeah, so I'll just put
a little parade.
Yeah.
Well, I know
of youth. I'm just seeing a bunch of youth doing something, coming in, opening. I don't know,
Yeah. Well, and something you mentioned about the way the younger folks are moving rapidly, like jumping into this, and I have two girls, a 19 and 20-year-old in college, and my oldest son's 28, and then we have a 15-year-old daughter. But they're like different mindset.
Yeah, they
and
are.
They're very, and one daughter, that's her junior year in high school. She lived in Spain for the whole school year, and total immersion, got fluent in Spanish, and now she's in Scotland for her second year in school there, and so that's really to be her third year living in another country, and just seeing how her worldview, like she's truly like being a global citizen, and how her outlook, she's similarities to her, kids her age, but there's just like it's just amazing to watch and inspiring, and to listen to how she, navigates conversations and how she can bridge differences and similarities. And
that's how I feel about my daughter.
And just have this, I'm like, she's going places. Her generation, they're going places, and they're going to bridge gaps that my generation struggled with, I think. And again, so I want to do what I can to support that.
Exactly.
And not pretend I know what's like best, And so anyway, that's like, it's an exciting time to be in the yoga community. Our teacher training things here, Marcia and I continue to try to keep it fresh and evolving, and listen to people when they give us feedback, or like, oh, you should try this. Oh, you should try that. And, I feel like, we need to get you in here doing some workshop, doing something, in the studio.
I think I'm ready. I was just trying to decide. I was like, okay, I got to figure out how to put my schedule and put in that's new for me. Put in and say, I'll do a workshop here and then go do a workshop there. I've done workshops, but I've done them myself. Like pick the location. I haven't partnered with people.
Yeah.
I had got away from that for a while. And so now I think I'm ready to partner up with different studios and do what I love to do. And then I keep moving and then I come back. And right now, I think that's where I'm at. And then while I'm doing that, my goal is I didn't mention while I was in Mysore, the extended family has a farm out there.
Oh.
And it's 10 acres. And to hear the story of the gentleman, how he quit his IT job. His family thought he was crazy and his wife was pregnant. And he just packed a backpack and left.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to get him in this mental institution saying, something's wrong with you. You make over $150,000. What is wrong with you? You can't leave your wife. She's pregnant. And he said he had this feeling when he was overweight, wasn't eating right. Life was good to everyone else, but not him.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept thinking about his grandfather's land. It was 10 acres of no one doing anything to the land. And people were just leaving there. I guess maybe 20, 30 years ago, people just weren't tending to acres that were out there. They were more modernized, trying to get everyone to come over here and get a job. And he said he went back after the 40 days, the community, because in Mysore, people feed you. You're never going to go hungry. You're going to eat.
Yeah.
And so people fed him. And then he went back to the land and he said he blessed the land and prayed on the land, meditated on the land. And then he said one by one, he just took each banana tree and started tending to it. And then he got villagers to come out and help him because they saw him out there. And then one guy came across and asked, could he just help? Could he live there and just help? And he'll just do small stuff as he goes back to the city. And over 4 or 5 years, it just started growing. Now it's blossomed. It's beautiful there.
Oh, wow.
So I got to see it in April at a beginning stage of turmeric and different types of bananas and coconuts and jackfruit and plants and flowers. And, so it was just beautiful to walk through. It was like a jungle. And I was like, that was my reality that I was in Mysore. I was like, I'm like on fresh land, that someone touched and took their time out to get with the villagers around and make community. And so he got awarded the award of, I guess the book called One Straw. It's a Japanese book on gardening.
Okay.
But basically, I guess in India, they were taking the coconut leaves and banana leaves and burning them on the edges of the street. And so in the book, he realized that you could take them and smother the land and keep it moisturized. And keep the land hydrated. And each year, it'll go deeper and deeper, and the hydration will just go deeper into the dirt. And so he's been doing that for 4 years, and he got an award for...
One Straw. I have to look that up.
I think it's called One Straw.
Yeah.
And Ujjayi Flyer has read that book also. Because he has a farm down in Miami and he was doing similar work. So I found that was like an alignment too. But brother Raul, which is who owns the Krishikamda farm.
Okay.
So when I went there, they gave me a day tour because remember I told you they were bouncing me around just seeing little things I could do to put on the program that people would be interested in. So when I went to this farm, I was going to stay all night to get an experience of what it would feel like to live on a cheaper rate for people who want to just live more raw versus in the city. Yeah. And I looked in this building and they had these wires that were all the way up to the ceiling, like really high. I mean, probably 20 feet high. And they were saying the year before they tried to grow silk and it didn't work. And so they still had all these wires sitting here. I said, well, this is your yoga studio. Because he was seeing a lot of yogis come through. This is an Airbnb on the farm. And you would see different, some of the white kids were coming from their rich homes and just kind of hang out. And they just do work and just hang out in India. So I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. Yeah. And he basically said he wanted the space to be something. And I said, turn it into a yoga studio. This is your yoga studio. The next week, he got all the villagers and moved everything out, all the wires, cleared it out, sweeped it, had it painted, had a priest come in, did a ceremony, invited me that morning. They did this whole ceremony, changed everything. I mean, in the front of it, pulled all the weeds up, put plants in and trees, everything. So when I got there, I was shocked.
Like,
I couldn't believe that they had just transformed this building into this yoga studio. And so it gave me this sense of, wow, like you've started something. Like you helped assist something. You've consulted something. So that really made me feel really great. And then the next week they brought in the painters that had painted a previous building they had, and they've turned the whole studio into something so beautiful that I could not believe. The paintings that are on the walls and the things that they did on the outside. And to see it now, it's been like 5 months now. I just keep seeing it each time. It just keeps growing. So Raul was struggling because when I left, everyone was doing yoga every day because I was there. Then as I left, they started venturing off and getting back into life. And so Raul was the one that was really wanting this yoga. He was like, I want to do yoga every day and figure out how I can pay the guru, because the Guruji was just teaching us free. And so I was like, we got to get donations. We got to figure it out. We got to figure out how he can get his teachings out, because he was only a 200 hour. And so they wanted to do teacher training there. And I had to do some research. I was like, you can't do teacher training until you get 500 hours. You got to, at least when people travel, they want to know that you're allianced or something. And he said, well, I'm UK allianced. I said, okay, so what we need to do is get you 500 hours so you can have your own training and certify. But in the meantime, why don't we do transformation programs? Because what you did to me was like outstanding. I had never felt a bandha. I've never done the poses ever like that he had me in. But I'm still trying to figure out how to get myself while I'm here. So what we're doing now is we're raising money for the farm, and it's like $3,000 to keep the farm going, which is a great amount. But to us, that can be easily feasible, by doing programs that can help the farm. And so people can stay on the farm, or they can stay in the city and take yoga in the shala in the politicians building, or they can stay on the farm. So there's 2 different programs that I'm writing up right now.
Oh, nice.
So that's what's happening. And then what we'll do is open the doors where people can start booking, and then they can go over and travel, and they have lodging, they have food already. They'll have food come to them. They'll give hours at the farm, or they can just actually stay and just do touring in the city and just be educated and be transformed that way. So 2 different ways. So
and do you have a timeline on when that can?
So I like to shoot the first one. I would love to go in and at least get 4 yogis that are already yogis, and get them in by January 2020 at a low rate, so they can get in and they'll help assist the guru, and they'll get transformation training, and then they'll swap. We'll just swap back and forth, and they'll learn how to learn some Ashtanga. They'll learn the language, and, if they're interested in Ashtanga. Or there's a hatha teacher. So that's Sister Seema. So it's one of the 2. So for me, I'm just looking at it from a standpoint, if you want to go experience India, experience the food, transform, kind of detox, get some stuff out your system, get some clarity, go to the temples and get some praying in, get some good food, just learning how to live that lifestyle. Because, some people might want to live there. They're selling plots, and it's a lot of opportunity there. And then for the farm, that's just could be a yearly exchange. If you want to go on level 1, you go there and help with the farm. And then the next semester in the fall, you can go again, just so you can keep watching it grow. Because some people are into that agriculture.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I want to do. And they would love to come here. I would love to bring Suresh here. To the yoga. Because he's an awesome teacher.
Oh, that would be super cool.
And he's a little man. He loves to step on you, and he's very good at adjustments. He's so good. And he just got that naturally. He said teachers and students would come in, and so he would play around and they would take yoga, and over time he just started learning that. But he comes from BNS Iyengar. So that style.
Which is in Mysore as well. So, well, that's cool. And I have a soft spot in my heart for farming, just like my mom.
Oh, do you?
And her brothers grew up on a farm, and they've all since passed. And so that there's a little family farm in Illinois that I've been like the only one of the cousins and siblings. It's like, Dave, you can, I volunteered to kind of manage it. So they're like, we trust you to do something with it. So that's always kind of top of mind, like the connection with the earth, and this idea of being a steward of the land, like your guy did.
Yes.
I mean, that total. I so appreciate when people can see beyond what's the norm or commercialized
and I think that's
things.
happening because the herd